NFL players who helped desegregate the NFL. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribed to this month's shoutout giveaway. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Big Hit Central. Who was the first African American to play Major League Baseball? Jackie Robinson, of course. Larry Doby and Hank Thompson, two other black ball players who joined the majors in 1947, aren't remembered as well, although they experienced the same brutal racism.
You had plenty of racist teams.
Of course.
That Robinson, and although Robinson is often credited with transforming all professional sports in the United States, there were other athletes who did their part. From 1920 to 1933, the NFL was multiracial. Indigenous and black people participated fully. For example, famed singer, actor, civil rights activist, and labor organizer Paul Robeson played pro football in the early 1920s while attending Columbia Law School. Segregation in pro football began with the tenure of George Preston Marshall, the owner of the Washington Redskins, a team that still has race relation problems today, who pressured the NFL to shut out black players, a practice that lasted from 1933 until 1946. Based on performance and ability, Kenny Washington should have joined the NFL in 1940. At UCLA, where he played in the backfield alongside Jackie Robinson, he led the nation in total offense in 1939 with 812 rushing and 559 passing yards, and won praise as one of the nation's best. He's also excelled at baseball, which he later described as his first love. Selected to play in a 1940 All-Star game in Chicago that pitted the best college players against the NFL champion Green Bay Packers, Washington scored a touchdown and impressed George Halas, the legendary owner and coach of the NFL's Chicago Bears. That didn't lead to an NFL contract for Washington, though 7 years later, NFL owners had informally agreed to ban black players. By many accounts, Washington stayed in Chicago after the game at Halas's behest, while Halas tried unsuccessfully to persuade the other owners to lift the ban. A breakthrough would not come until 1946, when Cleveland's NFL team, the Rams, moved to Los Angeles and sought a lease to play at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. At the same time, a team from a rival league, the All-American Football Conference, also applied to play there. Under pressure from the Coliseum Commission and black sports writers, football historians give Los Angeles Tribune Sports editor Haley Harding particular credit. Both the NFL's Rams and the AAFC's Dons announced their intent to integrate as a condition of the leases. The Dons stalled and didn't sign a black player until 1947. Harding and others pressured the Rams into signing Washington in March 1946. A short time later, the Rams also signed Strode. That same year in the AAFC, Paul Brown, coach and part owner of its Cleveland franchise, voluntarily sought and signed two other black standouts, Bill Willis and Marion Motley.
Paul Brown knew what he wanted. He knew how to manipulate, if you will.
Brown had coached Motley at Naval Station, Great Lakes, and Willis at Ohio State. Over the years leading up to its 1950 merger with the NFL, the AAFC would outplace the NFL on integration, further increasing pressure on the NFL to open its doors of opportunity. The four 1946 signings came a year before Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier, and in terms of abuse, reintegration pro football may have been more daunting in a game where contact is expected. The players endured some brutal physical treatment on the field, as well as verbal abuse off it. Pro football's reintegration may be less remembered than Robinson's historic breakthrough, though because baseball, the national pastime, was the country's most popular sport then. Baseball also had kept blacks out of the game for much longer. While only a handful of black players had been in the NFL before 1933, they included trailblazers such as Frederick Duke Slater, who played from 1922 to 1931, and Fritz Pollard, who played and coached from 1920 to 1928. After those 1946 signings, the NFL's reintegration progress was slow, but by 1959, black players accounted for about 12% of the NFL roster. Sean Lerman wrote in his 2008 book, The Pro Football Historical Abstract. The democratic idealism sparked by World War II, the protests of writers and fans, the emergence of the AAFC, and the success of several minority athletes in college football all account for the collapse of professional football's racial barrier. Nichols College history professor Thomas Smith wrote in 1988 in the Journal of Sports sport history. Over time, other racial barriers in the NFL fell. Nearly 20 years after reintegration, the league hired its first black official, Beryl Tuller, in 1965. Black quarterbacks became widely accepted in the 1980s, although Pollard played the position in the 1920s and Willie Fro rebroke the barrier in 1953, when he threw 8 passes in one game for the Chicago Bears. In 1989, the Los Angeles Raiders made Art Shell the league's first black head coach since Pollard in the mid-1920s. Motley and Willis had Hall of Fame careers with the Browns, one of 3 AAFC teams to join the NFL when the leagues merged in 1950. In 9 professional seasons, Motley amassed 4,720 yards on just 828 carries for a 5.7 yards per carry average. That still ranks among the highest of all time. Willis, renowned for his lightning quickness as a defense middle guard, played through 1953. Together from 1946 to 1953, they helped lead the Browns to 4 AAFC championships and 1 NFL championship, as well as 3 additional NFL championship games. Whatever their accomplishments on the field, Washington, Strode, Willis and Motley forever changed professional football. In his Journal of Sports History article, Smith cited the enthusiasm of one black sports writer who wrote in 1947, "The limitations have been lifted and now the sky's the limit." This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos out on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.